Okay, homework 9, question 2. We have 1 plus x over 4 all to the power of 8, and we're looking for the first 4 terms in ascending powers of x. Okay, so setting out, starting with 8c0, 1 to the power of 8, x over 4 to the power of 0, and continue the pattern so that the powers of 1 decrease and the powers of x over 4 increase. And also the number at the bottom of the binomial coefficient here increases alongside. So 8c1, 1 to the 7, x over 4 to the 1, then 8c2, 1 to the 6, and x over 4 to the 2, and 8c3, 1 to the 5, x over 4 to the 3. Now that is 1, 2, 3, 4 terms as requested, so then just plus ... to indicate that there are other terms, but we don't need them for this question. Now to the simplification process. 8c0 is 1, 1 to the 8 is 1, anything to the power of 0 is 1, so all of that simplifies down to just 1. Second term, 8c1 is just going to be 8, 1 to the power of 7 is just 1, and x over 4 to the power of 1 is simply x over 4. Now, third term, this is where we're going to need to get our calculator. 8c2, so 8, shift divide there to get the c, 2, 8c2 is 28. 1 to the power of 6 is just 1. X over 4 all squared. Well, we square the top and the bottom here, so we've got x squared over 16. Okay, the final term of our expansion, again 8c3, do that on the calculator. We've got 8, shift divide then 3 to get 56. 1 to the power of 5 is just 1. X over 4 all cubed, well, cubed the top and bottom, so we've got x cubed over 4 cubed, and if you're not sure what 4 cubed is, pop that into your calculator, and you see it's 64. Okay, so final line of working out is just to tidy all of that up. So we've got 1. Now here we have 8 times by x divided by 4. Well, 8 divided by 4 is 2, so that's just going to simplify to 2x. Here we have 28 times by x squared divided by 16. So we want to simplify 28 over 16. 28 over 16 is going to be 14 over 8, or 7 over 4. And if you're not sure, again, you can quickly tap it into the calculator there. 7 over 4. And finally, similarly, 56 divided by 56 over 64 there, 7/8. Okay, and that is the end of part A of that question. Okay, on to part B. Now above where I'm going to write the question to part B, I've got the answer to part A, which is 1 plus x over 4 to the power of 8 equals 1 plus 2x plus 7 over 4 x squared plus 7 over 8 x cubed plus ... Now in part B we're asked to estimate the value of 1.025 to the power of 8 using our expansion for 1 plus x over 4 to the power of 8. Now if we effectively equate these two expressions, what we see is that effectively it's saying that 1.025 is then equal to 1 plus x over 4. And then subtract 1 from both sides, we get 0.025 equals x over 4. Multiply 3 by 4, and we get x equals 0.1. Now 0.1 is a small number, and 0.1 to the power of 4 would be 0.0001. Etc., which would be very small, so small that you can start to ignore it for practical purposes. So x is small enough for us to use as our value, which we're now then going to substitute in to our expansion from part A. So effectively 1.025 to the power of 8 we're saying is the same as 1 plus 0.1 over 4 to the power of 8. So we've replaced the x there with our value for x of 0.1. And that is very close to the value of 1 plus 2 times x, which is 0.1, plus 7 over 4 times x, which is 0.1 squared, plus 7 over 8 times 0.1 cubed. Okay, so in our expansion above there, we had 2x, 7 over 4x squared, 7 over 8x cubed. I've now replaced the x with our 0.1 value, so 2 times 0.1, plus 7 over 4, 0.1 squared, plus 7 over 8 times 0.1 cubed. Okay, plus dot 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 dot. Now there are other terms, and to get a perfect value for 1.025 to the power of 8 using our expansion, we would have to include those values. But because 0.1 to the power of 4 would be very small, 0.1 to the power of 5 would be even smaller, and 0.1 to the power of 6 would be even smaller again, etc. For practical purposes, we can get away with ignoring those to get an approximate value, which is what's being asked for. Okay, all we now need to do is tap those values into our calculator. Okay, tap that calculation into our calculator. So 1 plus 2 times 0.1 plus 7 over 4 times 0.1 squared plus 7 over 8 times 0.1 cubed. And that gives us 1.218375. 1.218375. And the question asked us to state it to 4 decimal places, so rounding that to 4 decimal places will be 1.2184 for dp. That's the end of question 2.